Hey, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Unfeigned the Podcast. I'm Jay. I'll be your host. And I'd like to just talk briefly about something that's been on my heart. So I know I've mentioned in previous episodes that even though I'm healed, I still experience things. Things still come up in my life. Things that I struggled with before, they're still there. It's different now, but they're still there. And one very specific thing is how hard it is when I experience something that the broken relationship has taken. Now, let me just clarify a couple things. When I say that the broken relationship has taken it, I am fully aware that my choices and my behaviors and my decisions led to the destruction of my marriage. And I know that it wasn't done to me. But nevertheless, anytime a relationship is broken, things are stolen, things are taken, things are destroyed. And when those things come up, when you're confronted, and let me say this, I'll just get specific. So one thing that I really, I don't know how to describe it, but what I struggle with, or not even struggle, I guess it just becomes very hard for me. It's a hard time. Anytime I have to bring my kids back to their mother. Now, I know I've mentioned this before. It has nothing to do with where I'm bringing them back to or who I'm bringing them back to. I'm actually very blessed because our situation could be a lot worse. Well, every time that I spend time with my kids and they have to leave me or I have to bring them back to their mom, it's very hard for me. It's very difficult. And I guess unless you've experienced this or been through this, then maybe it would seem silly to you, or maybe not. I don't know, but for me, it's a very hard time whenever I have to do that, and I don't know, it'll never get easier. Um, the pain and the sadness that I feel in that moment, it's not just gonna go away. It'll always be sad for me, and here's why. And I want to talk about this very briefly, and then I want to really get into what the whole reason for this episode. It's a reminder of what's been broken. And anytime a relationship, anything that's been broken in a relationship, especially if the entire relationship has been broken and severed, there's a loss that happens. And when you experience these things again, it's a reminder of what's been broken and what's been lost. And so I'm reminded of wanting to be at all the things. I'm reminded of wanting to experience all the moments of whatever the thing is. And I keep saying the thing, like if there's an event and we both go to, one of us, the kids go back with one of us and one of us leaves without them. And it's hard for me. And I'm sure it's hard for my ex-wife too. I'm sure it's hard for parents in this situation. So I know I'm not alone, but nevertheless, it's hard. It's a hard thing because it's a reminder of what's been broken and what's been lost. And now the different, like what's been different or what's now different. And that's just really hard. And it happens every time. And sometimes, I guess it depends, but sometimes it's at least a day where I'm just sitting in it. I'm not doing anything else. I'm not just sitting in a corner, but it feels like that. And I do just feel this weight of sadness over what's been broken and what's been lost. And it's just a reminder of all of it. But the conversation I had with a friend of mine was that even though that is still there, that doesn't go away. It'll still come up, and the things that you've healed from will still come up. All of these things are still in life. But now it's different. And I say that because when I'm broken, as opposed to when I'm healed, I will behave differently in certain situations that come up. So if I'm broken, and a situation comes up, I act out of my brokenness, and it's unhealthy, and I don't treat that circumstance, that situation appropriately. But in my healing, I can I can sit in the sadness. See, well, let me back up. In my brokenness, I sit in the sadness and it leads to depression. It leads to self-doubt. It leads to anger. It leads to a lot of emotions. Um, and I sit in the regret and the shame and the guilt. But in my brokenness, as I reflect on those things, it's a it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It is a picture or is it a depiction of who I am. So I'm all those things. In my healing, it's the same circumstances, same situations, and same seat, right? I still have a seat at the table of sadness and grief and regret and sorrow and shame and guilt, and it's still the same seat, but me sitting there is different now because in my healing, I know reflection, that's the word. Sorry. In my healing, I know that's not a reflection of who I am. In my healing, I understand who I am. And so I can embrace the sadness. I can embrace the guilt and the regret and the shame. And it doesn't lead to depression and hopelessness. It doesn't lead to this image, this broken image of who I am. And so in my healing, I can absorb all of that and I can hold the weight, and it's still the same weight. It's still just as heavy. But in my healing, I can absorb that and understand who I am now as my healed version of me. I know who I am, and I know these things are not, I know the things causing the weight, the weightiness are not who I am. It might be what I've done and the consequences of my actions and all of that, but it's not who I am, and I know who I am now. And so I can sit there and hold all of the sadness. And this is ironic for me to say that in my healing, it's good. It's therapeutic for me. And I don't know how else, I don't know how to better explain that other than it being therapeutic. It's good. And I still don't like it. I don't like to be reminded of those things, but it's a different effect on my soul and on my mind and on my heart and my being now that I'm healed. And I want to close with this, especially specific to relationships. One, I believe that any brokenness in any relationship can be healed. It can be restored. There are things that both people will have to do. There will be some um, some help needed, right? And there will be some commitments that need to be made. But any relationship, regardless, no matter the level of brokenness, can be restored and healed. I believe that. Two, this is a perfect example of coming face to face with the same exact situation in your brokenness as opposed to in your healing. You come face to face, you're confronted with the exact same situation or circumstance or feeling or thought or whatever. You're confronted with the exact same thing. And this is a perfect example of the difference in effect on you, the difference on you, period, being in your brokenness, confronting that thing, and being in your healing. And maybe that's why I feel the way I do about helping people to heal through their brokenness. And I know individually, like personally, apart from any relationship, I know that in my life, I went from broken to healed. And I know what I had to do to get there. And I know all the things that were involved. And yes, while I've learned the hard way, I did it. I'm on the other side. And so that my journey has ignited this spark inside of me, this fire to help people experience the same thing in their own lives. But even next level is on the relationship side because I know what a broken relationship was. If you've heard my story, you know. So I've been on both sides. And so I know all of the brokenness of a relationship, but I also know what it takes to have a healed relationship, a healthy relationship, the mindset it takes, the commitments that have to be made. And side note, I've thought a lot about, um, like what I say, do I have to be in another marriage to provide marriage counseling, right? Or relationship counseling, and I thought a lot about that because I'm telling you, I know what it takes. I know you got to do this. I know if you did this, this will happen. And I'm talking a lot about those things. And, I'm not married. So does that discredit me? The answer is no, emphatically no, because it's the mindset. It's the commitment. It's the three mantras that I live by. So I know what the outcome will be. If God gives me the opportunity to be married again, if he gives me another chance, I already know that if both of us are committed to doing these things, I already know the outcome. And so that's where I speak from. But y'all, that was a side note, maybe another episode on that. But I want to encourage y'all that as you enter into your healing, as you step into your healing journey, regardless of where you're at, right? One, I can help you. Two, whether you're at the beginning or you're just about to start or you're somewhere in the middle or you're on the other side, healing doesn't erase all the situations that you were trying to heal from. Healing doesn't eliminate or eradicate all of the things that you needed healing from, because they're still going to be there. But what healing does is changes you. And it allows you to react differently. It allows you to think differently. It allows you to be different in those same situations. So I want to encourage y'all with that. And like I always say, it's very simple. There's very simple things that can be done in order for you to experience this kind of healing, but it's not easy. And it won't be easy. I'll leave you with this. Y'all may have heard the story, or maybe if someone has sent you something or whatever the case might be, you may have come across the story of someone talking to a silversmith about the process of refining silver. I'm not going to get into it all right now. I would like to on some other episode, but the process of refining silver involves tremendous heat and placing the silver into the hottest part of the fire until all of the impurities are burned off. And when asked how the silversmith knows how long, because if the silver is left in there for even a moment too soon or too much, it's ruined. It'll either not be refined the way it should, or it'll be ruined. And when asked how the silversmith knows how long or what's the right time to take the silver out, his response was, when I can see my image in it. I'm going to unpack that on another episode because there is a lot there. But the part that I want to encourage you with is it's going to be hard because refinement is hard. And it's the burning away of all the impurities until you're refined into your purest, most beautiful state. Y'all, I appreciate any time that y'all allow me to share my heart I appreciate y'all so much for listening. Share this podcast with everybody you know. Again, connect with me. Email me unfeignedpodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up on any of the social media platforms, specifically Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Still working on getting this podcast on all the other podcast platforms. Shouldn't be too long for that. But remember to follow this podcast on Spotify and definitely connect. And until next time, we'll see you then.